We are asked, I think in every media training session we run, what should I say if I'm asked a question and I don't know the answer? And it's always quite reassuring when people ask me this, because then what they say is, I don't want to busk it. I don't want to fake it. If I don't know, I'm not going to pretend I know. And that's exactly what you should be feeling. You don't want to be busking it. You don't want to be pretending, because you know that people can tell. And if I discover that you're just kind of faking it and busking it, it undermines everything else you're saying. So if you don't know, you should say, I don't know. And then, of course, people say, well, that makes me feel a bit silly because I should know. And yeah, there are certain things, of course, that in an interview, you should know. And when you're preparing for the interview, that's what you want to figure out is, given my position, my job title, my status, and given this particular situation, what are the things that I reasonably should be expected to know? And do that preparation and make sure you know those things so that you can deliver that information. Sometimes, of course, somebody might be asking for information that actually is unreasonable for you to have, or perhaps their question is overly simplistic. There might not be one overall number, there might be several numbers. They might be expecting you to deliver the information in a way that it's not gathered in that way, it's not presented in that way. We don't have an overall number, we've got breakdown for every local authority, all that sort of thing. And so in certain situations, it might be okay to signpost people to the website. I do have the information, I just can't recall it right now, but it's over there if you want to go and look at it. And sometimes it can be useful to signpost people to a website. If you want all the data, all the background, all the information, I'm not hiding anything. I just can't give you it in a 15-second soundbite, but if you want it, there's the URL. Another technique that you can use is setting the terms yourself. So there's a clip doing the rounds of Mary McCallan of the SNP, or the Scottish Government, the Housing Minister, Cabinet Secretary for Housing in the last government, probably still will be when the new government's formed just shortly. And she is at an interview and she's asked how many people are on the social housing register in Scotland. And she doesn't know. And she does the right thing. She says, I don't know. And she says, it's on a dashboard in my office and we track it regularly. I track it all the time. I get real-time updates. It's all there. But as of right now, no, I don't know. The problem for her, now where on the one hand there she's telling the truth. If she'd done what I'm suggesting, when I'm preparing for this interview, what should I reasonably be expected to know? Now, even although the journalist might be framing the question in a kind of overall headline, maybe rather simplistic way, I would think most people would expect the housing minister to be able to answer that question. Now, the truth, and I'm no expert, but the truth is probably that it's defined in lots of different ways. She certainly doesn't want to give a number that's less than the overall total, because that could get her into trouble. But, for example, there's some people sofa surfing. They're not officially defined as homeless. There might be people in accommodation waiting for a move to another one. There might be people sleeping rough. There might be people who, for various reasons, don't want to be on the social housing register. And again, I'm guessing here, it might be broken down by local authority or whatever. So it's not that she doesn't have the information, it's that it's not in the form ready to go that the journalist wants. Now, my suggestion to her or anyone in that position would be, that's all well and good, but you should be able to give them something. And I would say what you do in that situation is you set the terms. So you would say to the journalist, well, you're taking a complex problem and it's a very simplistic question. However, if you define it like this, then there's 16,400 people. Or as of the end of January this year, the number was this ballpark. Better if you know for sure, you can give them something 100%. But you set the terms, you define it. Well, if you mean by this criteria, here's the number. And if you want to know the full breakdown, it's on our website. or I'll come back to you with a printout later today. Going behind the question as well, what is it the journalists really asking? What are they trying to find out? Do they really want to know the number? Because if I really want to know the number, I could do a Freedom of Information request. I could email the office. Getting the number's not the difficult bit here. What that question I think really is it's a test. Are you on top of this situation? And do you care? And the problem with the answer that she gave was it looks like I'm not really on top of it, and her harshest critic might conclude that, I don't think you really care, which would, I think, be quite unfair to come to that conclusion. So, if you don't know, you don't know, but maybe you should find out. Maybe you could signpost to the website where the background and detail is. Or maybe you can set your own terms. You take the question, well, if you define it like this, then here's my answer. Hope that helps. Thanks very much for listening.